Hello everyone, my name is Anirban Bhattacharya and I welcome you to my YouTube channel Professor Wanderlust. Today we are going to have a discussion on William Blake's Songs of Innocence and Experience. Songs of Innocence was individually published in the year 1789, coinciding the year of the French Revolution. Now, this volume of poems was unique in several ways. Firstly, he deliberately structured his poems in the form of hymns, religious poems for the amusement of children. Although there were several hymn writers during this time, like Anne Letitia Barbard, Christopher Smart, Charles Wesley, Blake deliberately used this more conventional form. His poems were meant to represent a lot more than what simply met the eye. Secondly, Blake used a different technique in publishing this volume of poems. This technique he had actually learned from his mentor, John Thomas Smith. He called this technique the relief etching, where he actually engraved his poems on metal plates. Now, all the poems in the volume were actually accompanied with a brightly colored illustration, giving the poems a very attractive and a catchy comic book feel. Now you are going to see in the presentation that is about to come on your screen the original cover page of the 1789 Songs of Innocence volume, signed by the author and painter William Blake. There are 19 poems in the Songs of Innocence volume, and all of them are accompanied with a bright illustration. It is for this reason that Alexander Gilchrist, the first book-length biographer of William Blake, said, "Never before so surely was a man literally the author of his own books." One common thing that we can gather from a cursory glance at the plates is that the world depicted in the poems is apparently about the golden world of childhood, about laughing and playing children, sunshine and birds at song. They embody morals about the goodness of God and about the importance of generosity, benevolence, unselfishness, and sympathy. However, the poems in the Songs of Innocence are only deceptively simple, for they have structural and thematic complexities, and a closer reading of the poems in this volume is definitely going to establish this. Furthermore, the poems are full of deep and resonant ironies. Likewise, according to Emanuel Swedenborg, the state of innocence is compounded of the pagan age of gold and Judeo-Christian Eden. Internally and psychologically, it represents the state of man, the condition of man who has not yet experienced the inner divisions of the human soul. Externally and generically, it applies to the condition of man before the fall. The literary forebears of this state of innocence is the world of the Pastoral and the Psalms. Now, this is the world where the child and the lamb is protected by their guardian angels, by their shepherds, or even maybe by God. This could also be the world where the lamb, the child, and God are one. A similar expression could be found in Blake's poem, The Lamb. Now, this poem, The Lamb, is the ostensible utterance of a child speaker, now who raises and lays down certain question before a lamb. And the child with this innocence also explains the tone of apparent simplicity in the poem. Now, it is interesting how the child asks the lamb whether if it is aware about its creator, about the entity that gave the lamb its wonderful and cozy clothing of fleece. It asks the lamb whether if it is aware about its protector. Now, the child, with its innocence, asks the question, amplifies them, and then answers them himself. This is totally established from the lyrics of the poem, which goes like this, that little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life, bid thee feed by the stream o'er the mead. Gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing woolly bright. Gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Now, here in the first stanza, we are going to find that all the lines are a series of questions for the lamb. But definitely the lamb is not going to answer them, so the child complies. Blake establishes another very important fact in this poem, that the child is not an imbecile, the child is not stupid, the child may be innocent, but the child is not ignorant. Now, Blake is trying to establish the fact over here is that innocence is not charged with ignorance. Innocence is charged with wisdom. Furthermore, the title of the poem, The Lamb, is a basic symbol of Christianity. In the New Testament of the Bible, we find that the lamb stands for Jesus. Jesus, who came to us as a little child, was sacrificed by God for the redemption of mankind. Now, here Blake tries to establish a bond between the lamb, Jesus, and the child. Furthermore, in the book of Peter, chapter 1, verse 19, we find that the lamb has been described as an animal without blemish and without spots. Similarly, Jesus, with his doctrine of mercy, pity, and mutual forgiveness, and the lamb with its meekness and mildness, we find that Blake tries to establish a very close bond between a very close link between all three of them, the child, Jesus, and the lamb. Now, likewise, Blake writes, he is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. He is meek, he is mild, he became a little child. I a child, thou a lamb, we are called by his name. However, this is not the first time that someone has tried to create a bond between the lamb, the child, and Jesus. Previously, we have seen in the hymn written by Charles Wesley, where he writes, Lamb of God, I look to thee, there shalt my example be. Thou art gentle, meek, and mild, thou wast once a little child. Now here he refers to the different stages of Jesus' life, different aspect of Jesus' life, but he fails to kind of establish a link between the creator and the created, which Blake apparently does. Now, definitely this link between the creator and the created has very large theological implication. Perhaps Blake was trying to create a Holy Trinity of his own, where we find that the Lamb, the child, and Jesus are one. The very moment this bond is established, Blake raises several sociological questions instantaneously. The link between Jesus, the child, and the lamb becomes very ironical when we try to use this as a point of reference for analyzing other poems in the Songs of Innocence volume, especially poems like The Chimney Sweeper and Holy Thursday. Now, these poems we are going to analyze in the next part of our discussion. I hope you have found this lecture very informative and useful. Please do like and share, and don't forget to click the bell icon to subscribe for more updates on videos like this. Thank you. Goodbye till we meet again.